I had returned to my parents' home in Alaska the day before and was at the airport. Since my brother couldn't pick me up due to a prior engagement, his wife, Mary, was supposed to come get me instead. It was just past 1:30 p.m. The agreed time was supposed to be 1 p.m. It was already over 30 minutes past. As I was wondering what to do, I heard a car horn honking. Turning around, there was Mary. I pulled my suitcase and hurried over to her. "Mary, thanks so much for coming all this way. Was traffic bad? Are you okay?" I assumed she was late because she got caught in traffic and told her so. However, Mary didn't reply. As I was about to give up on the conversation and get into the car, the door wouldn't open. "Huh? Is it locked?" "It's on purpose." "What do you mean? If you weren't planning to let me in the car, why come here?" Was that some kind of hallucination? I doubted my ears. But if that was the case, if you weren't planning to let me in the car, why come here? Just for kicks. Mary laughed with a creepy smile on her face. Then she said, "Why don't you hitchhike home?" "You're kidding, right? Well, I'm off. Take care." With that, she left. Realizing she was quite pleased with herself for merely teasing me, I understood that it was all just a jest. Anger bubbled up within me, and I felt an irritation I had never known before. Well, I might as well hitchhike home, just like Mary said. My name is Hannah. I'm currently 30 years old and work in a home cleaning service. The story of how my husband, John, and I met goes back 10 years, to our college days when we worked at the same part-time job. I was born in Alaska and moved to Chicago for college. To earn money for living on my own, I didn't join any clubs and spent my days going straight from class to work. Back then, I worked at a bar, and many of the staff were around my age, and we really got along well. That's why I was able to enjoy my college life. Among them, I got along particularly well with John. Though we went to different colleges, we were the same age and he was easy to talk to. We often had shifts together, so I spent more time with him than with other members of the staff. "Hey, Hannah. The boss is off today." "Lucky, huh?" "No way. That's awesome. Let's secretly eat the leftover desserts." "Sounds good. It's a deal." We would sneak off like this, just the two of us, or chat about love interests, who liked whom at work, and other lighthearted topics. Back then, I thought of him as just a good guy friend, and I didn't have any romantic feelings for him, but it seems John felt differently. As we were both about to graduate and had secured full-time jobs starting in the spring, we decided to quit our part-time jobs at the same time. After a farewell party thrown by our close friends, and everyone else had left, about 10 minutes later, John asked me to meet him alone at a nearby park. There was no reason to refuse, so I headed to the park right away. "Hey, over here," John called out, waving his hand. "What's up? Are you drunk?" I laughed, seeing John's flushed face looking serious. Usually, John would just say shut up and laugh it off, but not that day. He looked seriously unsettled and didn't change his expression. Feeling the unusual atmosphere, I couldn't help but ask, "What? What is it?" "Well, it's just that." "Come on, spit it out." "I don't want to be apart." "Huh? From who?" "From you. We won't see each other after we quit the job, right?" "I hate that idea." I was momentarily at a loss for words, not fully grasping the meaning behind John's words. "What? Really?" "Stop with that unbelievable reaction. It hurts, you know." No. Sorry. It's just too unexpected, and my brain hasn't caught up yet." "I don't see you just as a friend. I've always liked you romantically. So, if it's okay with you, would you want to go out with me?" Seeing John speaking with a seriousness I had never seen before, I realized his feelings for me were genuine. Since I had always seen him as a friend, I told him I needed some time to think, and we parted ways that day. 2 weeks passed with John's confession hanging in the balance, and the time came for the welcome party for new employees. My mind wasn't there, I kept thinking about John. When we were working part-time, we used to see each other 2 or 3 times a week. But since quitting the job, it had been 2 weeks without seeing him. I felt strangely lonely. I couldn't help but think, am I that simple, as I realized I missed John and liked him not just as a friend. And so, our relationship progressed, and after dating for 7 years, we decided to get married when we were 27. It was time to meet each other's parents. As for meeting my parents, I decided against formally announcing it. My parents had divorced when I was young, because of my father's affair. So, it was just my mom and me, as I had no siblings. I had always been the only family for my mom. The reason I chose my current job was because I thought it suited me. My mom was always busy with work, coming home late every day. So, I naturally took on cooking, laundry, and cleaning by myself. But I never found it burdensome. In fact, I enjoyed those moments so much that I decided to pursue this career. I called my mom to tell her about the wedding. "Hello, Mom? There's something I want to talk about." "Oh, Hannah. How have you been? What is it?" "Yes, I'm fine. Actually, I want to marry John. So, we're planning to come over and formally greet you." "Oh, congratulations. You're finally getting married. I'm really happy for you. If it's with John, I can rest assured you should marry him." "Mom. But, I know what John looks like, and there's no need for you all to come formally. It's a long way here, and it's just me, so I'll visit you guys at your place instead. My family home is in Alaska. Traveling from where we live in Chicago to Alaska takes about 6 hours by plane alone. My mom knew about my long-term relationship with John and had met him a few times, so she said it wasn't necessary for us to come for a greeting. However, when I mentioned this to John, he said, "No, it doesn't matter what your mom says, we should go and properly meet her," and so we ended up going to my rural family home to greet my mom together. "I told you it was too far for you to bother coming. Distance doesn't matter. I wanted to see your mom in person and talk to her. I promise I'll always make Hannah happy." Hearing this, my mom, with tears in her eyes, happily said, "Please take good care of my precious daughter." With my family's greeting done, the next week we headed to John's home. Having been in a long relationship, we had many chances to visit John's family home before we decided to get married, and I had met his parents several times. John's dad is the president of a major company, and they have a pretty big house. His mom is the wife of a president, a very classy lady. What you'd call wealthy. I remember being shocked by the size of their house the first time I visited. At first, I was scared they might be like the strict and frightening parents you see in dramas. Would they disapprove of me being from a single-parent household or my job? But surprisingly, both of them were really down-to-earth and easy to talk to. They didn't care at all that my mom was a single mother and really took a liking to me. So, I wasn't too nervous about this marriage greeting. "Long time no see. Sorry for intruding." "Oh, Hannah. It's been a while. You look well. Hannah. Welcome. We've been waiting for this day." Old man here was getting impatient. John's parents were as kind as ever, and I felt relieved. They were genuinely happy about our marriage, and we had a great time that day. We thought our families had accepted us, and we were free from any family troubles, or so I thought, but there was one person I found a bit difficult to deal with, almost like a nemesis. That person was John's brother's wife. She named Mary. Nathan's wife, Mary, and he had gotten married 2 years before us, triggered by the news that they were expecting a child. When they got married, I was still single and just dating John, but we had been together for a long time. When I heard Natalie was going to have a baby, we decided to visit John's family to celebrate. "Congrats, Nathan. Nathan. Congratulations. Hannah. Brother. Thanks to both of you." Nathan responded with a smile, and sitting next to him was a woman holding a cute baby. immediately identifiable as Nathan's wife. I hurriedly introduced myself. "Nice to meet you, I'm Hannah." "Nice to meet you too. I'm Mary. Nathan has told me a lot about you. We're close in age, so let's get along." Mary smiled warmly, giving off a very calm and kind vibe, which was my first impression of her. The conversation turned to ordering pizza, and we chatted and ate together. Talking with Mary, I found out she was a year younger than me. She worked as a nurse and was currently on maternity leave. As we continued to chat, our husbands said they were going to step out for a smoke, leaving us to continue our girl talk. What was Nathan's proposal like? "We got married because I was pregnant, so there was no romantic proposal. It happened casually in the car. Like, we're having a baby, so should we get married?" I'm still holding a grudge about it. "What? But marriage proposals are every girl's dream. We'll have to lecture Nathan later." Our girl talk naturally transitioned to discussions about careers. "Why did you decide to become a nurse, Mary?" "My mom was a nurse, and ever since I was a child, I wanted to be like her. So, I studied really hard." "Wow, that's amazing. And cool. But night shifts must be hard, right?" "Not at all, it's challenging but fulfilling." "By the way, what do you do, Hannah?" "Me? I work in a home cleaning service." "Huh? What's that?" I felt Mary's brows furrow for a moment. It's indeed a job not everyone is familiar with. So, maybe she didn't get it? I explained again. "I go to clients' houses to do things like cleaning, laundry, and sometimes even cooking meals, taking care of children, or keeping dogs company. It really varies depending on the client." What kind of job is that? Just sounds like being a helper." Mary muttered under her breath. "Huh? What did she just say? Did I hear that wrong?" "What?" "Oh, nothing. I could never do a job that seems so uninteresting to me. I actually enjoy housework, so it's not a chore for me at all, and it's surprisingly fun. Housework is something anyone can do. I personally would hate being bossed around by strangers." It sounded a bit sarcastic, but oh well. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, after all. I tried not to take Mary's comments too personally. But after that, every time I met Mary, she would criticize my job. "Are you still sticking with that pointless job?" "Pointless? I actually find it quite fulfilling." "Oh, sorry. Just slipped out," she would say, in a tone that seemed to belittle my work. This didn't change even after John and I got married. "Hannah, I heard you got married to John? Congratulations. It's amazing how John's parents approved of someone in such a low-end job as yours." Low-end job. I couldn't believe my ears at her harsh words. Well, isn't it? Just odd jobs? A helper? Something like that? Did you sweet-talk your father-in-law or something? That's a terrible thing to say. I didn't sweet-talk anyone. They accepted me willingly. Wow, the eldest son's wife of such a wealthy and prestigious family working as just a helper? That's quite the embarrassment. Mary's insults about my job became more intense, taking advantage of my silence. What made it worse was that she would never say such things in front of Natalie or John. She only said them when it was just the two of us. And then she would always add, "Please don't mention any of this to John or Nathan, okay?" If she didn't want them to hear, she shouldn't bother me in the first place. It seemed like Mary enjoyed insulting me and watching my reaction. As per her request, I didn't tell Natalie or John about the insults. So neither of them knew her true nature, with my husband saying, "Mary is really ladylike, isn't she?" I could have told John about her, but nobody likes to hear negative things about their sibling's spouse. It felt wrong to stir things up, so I never brought it up. And since I wasn't being openly harassed at the moment, I thought, oh well. I initially thought we could get along well since we were close in age, but it was clear that wasn't going to happen. But then, one day, Something happened that made oh well not an option anymore. That day, I was at the airport. I had gone back to my family home the day before and stayed overnight. Usually, John would pick me up from the airport, but today he was out with his brother Natalie, so he couldn't come to get me. Even though I won't be there, it looks like Nathan's wife is going to pick you up. Mary? She's not resenting it, is she? What? Why would you think that? She doesn't seem to mind at all. You always seem to get along. Nathan said he'd asked her to do it. Just take it easy for today. I was astounded by my husband's obliviousness, but what could I do? Okay, thank you. Then I'll be waiting. I was sure Mary disliked me. So, I never imagined she'd actually come to pick me up. I was skeptical but decided to wait and see. Maybe Mary had changed her feelings? Hoping for that, I waited for the agreed time. However, even after the appointed time, there was no sign of Mary. It was already past 1:30 p.m. More than 30 minutes had gone by since our agreed time. Maybe it was foolish of me to think Mary would come for me after all. Feeling down about it, I was about to leave the meeting spot when I heard a car horn honking. Huh? Turning around, there was Mary. I pulled my suitcase and ran towards her with a smile. Mary, thank you so much for coming all this way. Was the traffic bad? Are you okay? I tried to be friendly, but Mary looked displeased. Sorry, was it too far for you? No matter what I said, Mary kept her silence. Rather, it seemed like she was ignoring me. As I got no response to anything I said, I reluctantly gave up on trying to make conversation and tried to get into the car, but the door wouldn't open. Huh? Is it locked? I looked at Mary remaining silent. Then she finally turned to me and spoke for the first time. It's on purpose, she said. What do you mean? Did you really think I came to pick you up? As if I'd let someone with such a low-end job in this car? What? What does that mean? Exactly as I said. People like you are not welcome in my car. Mary said with a chuckle, which only made me more irritated. Why come here if you had no intention of letting me in the car? Huh? Isn't it obvious? Just for a laugh. I wanted to see that angry face of yours. Mary started laughing with a creepy expression. While I stood there dumbfounded, she spat out, "Why don't you just hitchhike back?" Hitchhike? Are you serious? Yep, I'm off then. She said and walked away. To come all this way just to mock me. My anger towards Mary's actions began to boil over. But I couldn't dwell on it. John was waiting for me at home, after all. Hitchhiking didn't seem realistic. So I decided to take a bus or train home. I had just texted John, saying, I'm still at the airport waiting for Mary, so I'll be home in about an hour, right before this happened. To avoid worrying him, I called, sorry, I'll take the train and bus back, so my return will be delayed by about an hour. What? Why are you taking the bus and train? Mary was supposed to head there, right? Well, she did come to the airport, but then she left me behind. What? Why? What happened? How are you getting back? I don't know. She told me to hitchhike back. What the hell? I'll tell Nathan to ask her to come back immediately. You could tell from the phone call that John was confused and agitated. That makes sense. He had complete trust in Mary, after all. It was when I was contemplating whether to take John's advice and have Mary come back. I spotted someone familiar. Ah, I just saw someone I know, I'll ask if they can give me a ride. I'll figure something out, so wait for me. A friend? Are you sure you'll be okay? Be careful. We'll be home soon too, so don't push yourself, okay? I'm sure it'll be okay. Thank you. With that, John and I ended the call. I decided to chase after the person I spotted to talk to them. Then, I noticed my phone ringing. Is it John? Thinking that, I checked the screen only to see Mary's name displayed. After leaving me stranded at the airport, What could she possibly want now? I was so upset with Mary that I decided to ignore the call. However, she kept calling back relentlessly. Something felt off. Could she have gotten into an accident? If something happened to Mary because I kept ignoring her? Worried by my negative thoughts, I finally decided to answer the call. Hello? Hey! What did you say to Nathan? Mary's voice was so loud that it hurt my ears, forcing me to pull the phone away. It seemed Mary hadn't been in an accident after all. Huh? What are you talking about? After calling me repeatedly, Mary suddenly started yelling, making me even angrier. This time, I couldn't help but respond more forcefully than usual. Nathan scolded me, asking what I did to you. Why do I have to be yelled at? Oh, that's what this is about. I didn't talk to Nathan directly. I just told John I'd be late, and when he asked why, I mentioned you left me behind. We had a deal not to tell John or Nathan, right? It was supposed to be just your problem, but now it's the worst. Mary started screaming again, blaming me. It's your fault. What are you going to do about this? How dare you, with your low-end job? Wait a minute. I never made such a promise, and what's wrong with telling the truth? Her outrage was unjustified. What? If you just wanted to complain, I'm hanging up. Wait. If I don't pick you up, Nathan will scold me. Just wait there. Mary, still furious, said she would come back and then hung up abruptly. Well. There was something important I wanted to say. But it's okay. Thinking this could actually be a chance to turn the tables on Mary, I decided not to call her back and instead waited with the acquaintance I had just met for Mary to arrive. 20 minutes after ending the call with Mary, she showed up at the previously agreed meeting spot. Get in, she said in a brusque manner, gesturing to the car with her chin, urging me to get inside. No thanks. I'll pass. What? What are you talking about? I came all the way here to pick you up. But you were the one who said you wouldn't give me a ride in the first place, right? Why are you being so spiteful? Just get in already. Nathan is going to scold me. No, I've managed to hitchhike. So, I don't need a ride. Hitchhike. Look, these two have offered to take me home, I said, and the people I had spoken to earlier stepped out from behind the car. Mary was shocked when she saw them. Oh, mother-in-law? Father-in-law? Yes. Those people were none other than John's parents. In other words, they were Mary's in-laws. 20 minutes earlier, while I was on the phone with John, I noticed two familiar figures. They were holding hands, carrying lots of souvenirs, and looked very happy together. It turned out they were John's parents. Mother-in-law. Father-in-law. Oh, Hannah. What a surprise. What a coincidence. Why are you at the airport? I was visiting my family home in Alaska. Are you two traveling? Yes. My wife wanted to go on a hot spring trip, so we took a little vacation together, they said, smiling at each other and sharing their travel stories. It was clear they had a wonderful trip. Seeing their cheerful faces made me forget all about my irritation with Mary, and I felt warmed by their happiness. Was John supposed to pick you up at the airport? No, John is out with Nathan. Those two are really close, aren't they? Oh? So how are you planning to get back home? I was actually supposed to be picked up by Mary, but, well. As I hesitated, my mother-in-law expressed concern. What happened? Did something happen? Can you tell me? So, I decided to share what Mary had done to me. How Mary had left me stranded. How she had been insulting me all this time. My in-laws listened intently, nodding seriously. Where is Mary now? She said she was coming back here over the phone. Is that so? Well, this might be a good chance to give her a little surprise, my father-in-law said with a mischievous grin like a boy planning a prank. This was 20 minutes ago. At my father-in-law's suggestion, we decided to wait together for Mary's arrival. Mary was stunned to find my in-laws there, not expecting them to be present. "Oh Mary, what a coincidence. Why are you here?" "Hannah was about to hitchhike because you told her to. We decided to give her a ride." "You did tell her to hitchhike back, right?" my mother-in-law said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Ah, it was." Mary was at a loss for words, mumbling incoherently. Then, she glaring at me. She was caught off guard by my father-in-law's next words. "Mary, do you have something to say to Hannah? Please, say it in front of us." Bracing herself, Mary sighed heavily and began. "This woman is a low-end worker, you know? How can I say that the eldest son's wife of Nathan's wealthy and dignified family is just a helper? So, I thought I'd say it for you, kind mother and father-in-law. She's a disgrace to this family." Mary spat out her words venomously. A stark contrast to the usually demure and gentle Mary. My in-laws seemed a bit shocked. "If you call Hannah's job low-end, what does that make me, a homemaker?" "That's different. Mother-in-law has class, and being a homemaker doesn't matter. It's absurd to think it's okay for me, but not for Hannah. Hannah has her own dignity too. But, regardless, Hannah doesn't fit in this family. She shouldn't be accepted." "It's not for you to decide. It's wrong to judge someone solely by their occupation. From my perspective, both Mary and Hannah are suitable for this family," my father-in-law said, placing a reassuring hand on Mary's shoulder. "That's right. We love both of you. So, Mary, please be nice to Hannah. For Nathan and John's sake, and for ours, okay?" Tears started to stream down Mary's face. "I'm so sorry. I truly am." She apologized through sobs. "It's okay. I'm sorry too," I responded, and somehow, we managed to reconcile. Both Mary and I felt anew the warmth of my in-laws. Afterward, Mary decided to drive back in her car, and I went with my in-laws. Though I could have gone with Mary. "Let's have a long chat today. Can you tell me about your trip to Alaska?" "Thank you so much. Because of you, mother and father, it seems I can now talk normally with Mary." "What are you talking about? We're a family, aren't we?" With that, we all went back to the family home where Nathan and John were waiting. Upon arrival, Nathan immediately approached Mary, who was being lectured in a rather upset mood, but it was clear she was quietly accepting the scolding. After seeing Mary's demeanor, Nathan seemed convinced she was genuinely remorseful but warned, "You know what will happen if you do something like this again, right?" Everyone probably thought of divorce at that moment. "Hannah, were you okay? I'm sorry. I had no idea about what was happening between you and Mary." John expressed his regret and concern. "It's fine. Besides, I'm okay." "Really? You're not just saying that?" "Yes. Thanks to your parents, I'm safe, and it looks like Mary and I have made up." "What? Dad and Mom did? What happened exactly?" John looked utterly confused. It made me laugh. "Why are you laughing?" "I was just thinking how happy I am. Thank you for marrying me." "What, suddenly, thanks, I guess." John scratched his head in embarrassment. 3 years later. We were both 33. As I was cooking, my husband rushed over to me. "Hannah, please, just sit down. Don't move around too much. Your belly is getting big, you know." "Oh, you're being overprotective. I'm fine doing this much." "No way. If something happened to you or the baby. I'm just worried, so please sit down. Come on, to the sofa." Guided by my husband, I sat down on the sofa. Yes. Actually, John and I are expecting a baby. I'm in my final month and the baby is due soon. The doctor told us it's a girl. "Hannah, if anything comes up, make sure to ask me, okay? I'm somewhat of a parenting veteran." Mary said confidently, hands on her hips. Mary. Thank you. I'll definitely ask for advice. Once the baby is born and grows a bit, let's go on a trip together with Nathan, John, you, me, and the kids. Maybe we should invite mother and father-in-law too? That sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. We smiled at each other as we talked about the future. Mary no longer ridiculed my profession. It seems the words of my in-laws resonated with her in her own way. Once like cats and dogs, thanks to my in-laws, we've truly become good friends, now able to discuss anything. Surrounded by kind in-laws, a loving husband, and a caring brother-in-law and his wife, I am truly happy now.